I pulled into the parking lot at 6:47 p.m. with a bag of takeout from the Thai place she used to love. Spring rolls, pad CEW, extra lime. The kind of gesture that says I'm thinking about you without needing a card or a speech. Her car wasn't in its usual spot near the entrance. I checked my phone. No texts. No missed calls. Just the message I'd sent 2 hours ago that still sat on delivered, not read. She'd been working late for 3 weeks straight. New project, she said. Big client, tight deadline. All the corporate words that sound important when you say them fast enough. I didn't question it because I'm not that guy. I trust until I can't. But sitting there with cooling noodles and an empty parking space, something small and sharp started working its way under my skin. I called her. Straight to voicemail. I called again. Same thing. Then I did what any husband would do when his wife's car isn't where she said it would be. I got out and walked in her office building. The lobby was marble and glass, the kind of place that makes you feel underdressed, even in business casual. The security guard at the desk looked up from his phone. He was young, bored, wearing a tie that didn't match his shirt. Help you, he asked. Yeah, I said, holding up the bag. I'm here to drop off dinner for my wife. Sarah Mitchell. She's upstairs working late. He squinted at his screen, typed something, then looked back at me with the expression of someone who just found a typo in a finished report. Sarah Mitchell, he repeated slowly. That's right. Marketing department. She's been here late every night this week. He clicked a few more times, then leaned back in his chair. Sir, I don't show anyone by that name signed in today. Or yesterday. Actually, he scrolled. She hasn't been in the building for about 3 weeks. The bag in my hand suddenly felt heavier. 3 weeks. Yeah. Last badge swipe was October 9th, 4:32 p.m. I set the food down on the counter like it might explode. Can you double check that? He turned the monitor toward me. There it was. Sarah Mitchell. Last entry, October 9th. Today was October 30th. You sure she works here? He asked, not unkindly. She's been leaving for work every morning at 7:30. I said, more to myself than to him. Coming home at 8, sometimes 9, telling me about meetings, deadlines, conference calls. He shrugged. Not here, man. Sorry. I picked up the bag and walked back to my truck in a fog. My hands were steady on the wheel, but my brain was doing math it didn't want to solve. 3 weeks. 21 mornings of watching her leave in heels and a blazer. 21 nights of hearing about how exhausting her day was. 21 lies served with a smile and a kiss on the cheek. I didn't go home. I drove to a coffee shop 3 blocks away and sat in the parking lot with my phone. I opened the location share app we'd set up after she got a flat tire alone on the highway last year. For safety, she'd said. For emergencies. The dot was downtown. Not her office. Not at a restaurant. At an address I didn't recognize. I plugged it into the map. The Grandview Apartments. Unit complex, modern, expensive. The kind of place single professionals rent when they want to feel like they've made it. I sat there for an hour. The dot didn't move. I called her again. Voicemail. I texted. Where are you? No response. At 8:15, I started the truck and drove downtown. The Grandview was all glass and steel with a lobby that tried too hard. Potted plants, abstract art, a water feature that sounded like a broken faucet. I walked in like I belonged there, past the front desk where a woman in a blazer was on the phone, and took the elevator to the 3rd floor. Unit 312. That's where the dust said she was. I stood in the hallway with my hand, raised to knock, then lowered it. I listened. Voices inside. Hers, bright and laughing. A man's, low and easy. Music playing softly in the background. The smell of something cooking. I knocked. 3 times. Firm, not aggressive. The music stopped. Footsteps. The door cracked open, and there she was, my wife of 7 years, standing in yoga pants and a tank top I'd never seen before. Her hair was down, casual. Her face went from curious to pale in half a second. Mark, she said. Just my name. Like it was a problem she hadn't prepared for. Working late? I asked. She didn't answer. Behind her, a man appeared in the doorway. Mid-30s, fit, wearing joggers and a t-shirt that said something about a marathon. He looked at me, then at her, then back at me. Who's this? He asked. Her husband, I said. His face did something complicated. Surprise, confusion, then something that looked like anger. Husband. He turned to Sarah. You said you were divorced. I did say that, I confirmed. But I'm standing right here. Very much married. Sarah put a hand on the doorframe, like she needed it for balance. Mark, I can explain. You quit your job 3 weeks ago, I said. Security downstairs told me. You haven't been to the office since October 9th. So where have you been going every morning at 7:30? The man stepped back into the apartment. Sarah, what the hell is going on? Here, apparently, I said, looking past her into a living room that had her jacket on the couch, her shoes by the door, her coffee mug on the table. How long? She opened her mouth. Closed it. Tried again. It's not what it looks like. It looks like you quit your job, lied about it for 3 weeks, and moved into another man's apartment while still coming home to sleep in my bed. I said, which part am I getting wrong? The man, let's call him Marathon Guy, stepped forward. Look, man, I didn't know she was married. She told me she was single. Showed me divorce papers and everything. Divorce papers, I repeated. Interesting, since I never signed any. Sarah's eyes went wide. Kevin, let me handle this. Kevin, I said, turning to him. Did she tell you about the house we bought together? The mortgage I've been paying while she's been playing single? The joint account she's been draining for groceries that apparently feed you? Kevin looked at Sarah like she'd just turned into a stranger. You said you were staying with a friend while your place was being renovated. She's creative, I said. I'll give her that. Mark, please, Sarah said, stepping into the hallway and pulling the door closed behind her. Can we talk about this somewhere private? We can talk about it in front of Kevin, I said, since he's apparently part of this now. Or we can talk about it at home. Your choice. But either way, you're going to tell me the truth. She looked at Kevin through the crack in the door. He stared back, arms crossed, face hard. Then she looked at me. I needed space, she said quietly. I wasn't happy. I didn't know how to tell you. So you fake gonna work for 3 weeks. I was going to tell you. When? After you moved out completely? After you drained the bank account? Her jaw tightened. I wasn't draining anything. I pulled out my phone and opened the banking app. $600 at Target last Tuesday. $300 at Whole Foods. $200 at that boutique on 5th. Should I keep going? She didn't answer. Here's what's going to happen, I said. You're going to come home tonight. We're going to sit down like adults and divide everything cleanly. Or you can stay here with Kevin, and I'll have a lawyer handle it. Your choice. But the lying stops now. You don't get to make demands, she said, finding some heat. I'm not making demands. I'm setting terms. You broke the contract. I'm closing it. Kevin opened the door wider. Sarah, you need to leave. She spun around. What? I don't date liars, he said. Get your stuff and go. Kevin, I can explain. You told me you were divorced. You told me you were staying with a friend. You told me a lot of things. He stepped back. We're done. She looked between us, panic rising in her face. Then she turned and walked into the apartment. I heard drawers opening, zippers. 5 minutes later, she came out with a duffel bag and the jacket from the couch. Kevin handed her a box. Rest of your things. Mail them to wherever you actually live. She took the box without looking at him, then walked past me to the elevator. I followed. We rode down in silence. In the parking lot, she threw the bag in her car and turned to me. I'm sorry, she said. For which part? All of it. That's not specific enough. She wiped her eyes. I met Kevin at the gym. We started talking. It felt easy. You and I had been distant for months. I thought maybe I needed to see what else was out there. So you quit your job. They were downsizing. I took a severance package. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to worry. And the money? I was saving it for a deposit on my own place, while living rent-free in mine. She didn't answer. You're a coward, I said. Not angry. Just factual. You wanted out, but you wanted me to fund it. You wanted to keep one foot in my house while testing the water somewhere else. That's not brave. That's selfish. I know. Do you? I stepped closer. Because right now, you're crying like I'm the one who did something wrong. She looked up, mascara running. What do you want me to say? Nothing. I want you to go home, pack your things, and be out by the weekend. I'll draft a separation agreement. We'll split assets cleanly. You keep your car. I keep the house. We divide the savings and close the joint account. Simple. What if I don't want a divorce? I laughed. It came out harder than I meant. You're standing in a parking lot with another man's apartment key in your pocket. You don't get to play the victim now. She bit her lip. Can we try counseling? No. Mark, you lied to me for 3 weeks. You built a second life while I paid your bills. You made me look like an idiot. Counseling is for people who want to fix things. You wanted an exit. I'm giving you one. She stared at me for a long time, then nodded. Okay. Good. I'll see you at home. Don't make me wait. I got in my truck and drove away. In the rearview mirror, I saw her standing next to her car, holding the box, looking small and lost. I didn't feel sorry for her. I felt tired. At home, I call my brother. He's a lawyer, the kind who doesn't ask stupid questions. I need a separation agreement, I told him. Clean split. No drama. What happened, he asked. I told him. He listened without interrupting, which is why he's good at his job. She's gonna fight you on the house, he said when I finished. Let her. I've got the deed in my name. She never contributed to the down payment. Doesn't matter if you're in a community property state. We're not. And I can prove she abandoned the marriage. She quit her job without telling me and moved into another man's apartment. That's constructive abandonment. Good. I'll draft the papers tonight. You'll have them by morning. Thanks. You okay? He asked. I'm functional. That's not the same thing. It's close enough. I hung up and sat in the dark living room. The house was quiet. Too quiet. I turned on the TV just to have noise, then turned it off because I couldn't focus. I made coffee. I didn't drink it. I stood at the kitchen counter and stared at the calendar on the wall where she'd marked her fake work schedule in neat handwriting. She came home at midnight. I heard the garage door, her footsteps, the sound of her setting down her keys. She walked into the kitchen and stopped when she saw me. I didn't think you'd still be up, she said. I don't sleep well when I'm angry. She set her purse on the counter. I'm sorry. You said that already. I mean it. Doesn't change anything. She pulled out a chair and sat down. What happens now? I slid a folder across the table. My brother drafted this. Read it. Sign it. We're done by next week. She opened the folder and scanned the first page. You're keeping the house. I paid for it. We're married. It's half mine. You moved out. That's abandonment. I can prove it. Fight me if you want, but you'll lose and pay more in legal fees. She kept reading. You're only giving me half the savings. That's generous considering you were planning to drain it. I wasn't. Don't lie to me again, I said. Flat. Final. You lost that privilege. She closed the folder. This feels punitive. It's fair. You want more. Hire a lawyer. Otherwise, sign it and move on. She stared at the folder like it might catch fire. What about counseling? What about it? We could try. Why? So you can waste another 3 weeks pretending to care. I do care. You don't. You care about not looking like the bad guy. You care about keeping your options open. But you don't care about me. Her eyes filled up. That's not true. Then prove it. Tell me why you quit your job without telling me. Tell me why you moved in with Kevin. Tell me why you spent 3 weeks lying to my face. She didn't answer. That's what I thought, I said. Sign the papers, Sarah. It's over. She wiped her eyes and stood up. I'll sign them in the morning. Good. I'll be at work. Leave them on the counter when you're done. She walked out of the kitchen. I heard her footsteps on the stairs, then the sound of the bedroom door closing. I slept on the couch that night. Not because I was being dramatic, but because I didn't want to share a room with someone I didn't recognize anymore. In the morning, she was gone before I woke up. The papers were on the counter, signed. Her wedding ring sat on top of them, like punctuation. I picked it up, looked at it for a second, then dropped it in a drawer with the spare batteries and takeout menus. I called my brother. She signed. Fast, he said. She must know she's got no leverage. Or she's done pretending. Either way, I'll file this today. You'll be legally separated by the end of the week. Divorce finalized in 6 months if she doesn't contest. She won't. How do you know? Because she's already moved on. She's just waiting for the paperwork to catch up. Over the next few days, she moved her things out in stages. A carload at a time. She didn't ask for help. She didn't try to talk. She came in, packed boxes, and left. By Friday, her side of the closet was empty. Her bathroom counter was clear. The house looked like a museum of a marriage that used to exist. On Saturday, I changed the locks. Not out of spite, but out of practicality. She didn't live here anymore. She didn't need a key. On Sunday, I got a text from Kevin. Just wanted to say sorry for my part in this. I really didn't know. I stared at the message for a minute, then typed back. Not your fault. She lied to both of us. Still, that's rough. It is what it is. For what it's worth, she's been calling me all week. I haven't answered. Good call. You seem like a decent guy. Hope things work out for you. Thanks. I didn't hear from Sarah for 2 weeks. Then, on a Tuesday night, she called. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. What? I said. I need to get a few more things from the house. Mail me a list. I'll box them up. I'd rather come by. I'd rather you didn't. Mar, please. I won't take long. I sighed. Saturday. Noon. I'll leave the garage unlocked. Take what you need and lock it behind you. Don't come inside the house. Okay. Thank you. She hung up. On Saturday, I left at 11:30 and drove to my brother's place. We watched a game, ate pizza, didn't talk about Sarah. At 3, I got a text from her. I'm done. Lock the garage. Thank you. I drove home. The garage was locked. Inside the house, nothing looked different. She'd taken what she came for and left. It was clean, efficient, and completely empty of emotion. That night, I sat in the living room with a beer and looked at the space she used to occupy. The chair she liked by the window. The spot on the couch where she'd curl up with a book. The coffee table where she'd leave her laptop open with half-finished emails. It was all still there, but it didn't feel like hers anymore. I didn't miss her. I missed the idea of her. The version I thought I'd married. The one who told the truth and kept her promises. But that person either never existed or stopped existing a long time ago. What I missed was the routine, the predictability, the shape of a life that made sense. But I didn't miss the lies. I didn't miss the pretending. And I didn't miss the feeling of being stupid in my own house. A month later, the divorce was finalized. No contest. No drama. We divided the assets exactly as outlined in the separation agreement. She took her car, half the savings, and some furniture. I kept the house, my truck, and my self-respect. I ran into Kevin at the grocery store once. We nodded at each other like war veterans who served in different units. He didn't stop to chat. Neither did I. I heard through mutual friends that Sarah moved to another city. Got a new job. Started fresh. Good for her. I meant it. Not because I forgave her, but because I didn't care enough to hold a grudge. These days, I keep my routine simple. I work. I go to the gym. I have dinner with my brother once a week. I fixed up the guest room and turned it into an office. I repainted the bedroom a different color because I didn't want to look at the same walls she used to look at. I don't date. Not because I'm broken, but because I'm busy. Busy building a life that doesn't need someone else's approval to feel real. Busy learning to trust my instincts again. Busy remembering that I deserve better than a woman who treats marriage like a part-time job she can quit without notice. Sometimes people ask if I'm lonely. I tell them no. Lonely is being married to someone who lies to your face every morning. Lonely is sitting across from someone at dinner and knowing they're thinking about someone else. Lonely is sharing a bed with a stranger who wears your wife's face. What I am now is alone, and alone is honest. Alone doesn't pretend. Alone doesn't quit its job and move into another man's apartment while keeping a key to your house. Alone is clean. And after 7 years of being married to a liar, clean feels like luxury. If there's a lesson in all this, it's simple. Trust your gut. When something feels wrong, it probably is. When your wife says she's working late, but her boss says she quit 3 weeks ago, don't make excuses. Don't rationalize. Don't give her the benefit of the doubt she stopped earning months ago. Ask the hard questions. Follow the dots. Show up at the apartment. And when you find out the truth, don't cry. Don't beg. Don't negotiate with someone who already checked out. Just sign the papers, change the locks, and get on with your life. Because the opposite of love isn't hate. It's indifference. And indifference, I've learned, is the only way to win a game you never agreed to play.